Alright, here we are in a 2009 JK Rubicon. It's a Hemi 5.7 VVT motor. Swap was done about a year ago. You can see it's still hot here in Vegas. It's been parked out in the sun, so it's showing 113. This Jeep has a cold air hood. It has cold air induction. It's got the total hood, so the intake temps do stay low. This 5.7 VVT was worked over a little bit. Said to have 450 horsepower, and it feels pretty strong. It has the standard 5-speed transmission, 35s with 488 gears. It's black. This Jeep has melted down a couple of modules. In fact, it's here right now for a couple of issues. So let's do our testing. It feels like somewhat of a thrill seeker driving a black Rubicon on a 113 degree day with a Hemi in it. But I do have a cell phone. The LS and the Hemi drive completely different. You'll notice that on the tachometer, the Hemi revs up, the motor revs up, and then the speed starts to increase. The LS is much more connected. You give it throttle, the vehicle goes. You give it more throttle, the vehicle goes more. With a Hemi, you give it throttle, the tach moves, and the vehicle starts to follow. And it's a more disconnected feeling, and the transmission seems to be more, not as intuitive. It doesn't really seem to know what you want. So, we're going to get this thing on the parkway. It's only a couple of miles uphill. We'll see how it does. We're going to drive an LS that's virtually identical to this, a 2009. The LS does not have the cold air hood or cold air induction. The LS does not have 488s, it has 410s. Other than that, they're pretty much identical. Same tires, they both have armor, they're both pretty heavy. And we'll see how they compare. You can see the tachometer. It's very, I guess loose would be the word. It really revs up before the vehicle starts to move. It's like it's got a loose converter in it, which is a different style of driving than the LS. The air conditioning in this Hemi does work better than the stock 3.8. I'm not sure if you did anything to the electronics. The fan does come on as soon as you, okay, here we go. All right, 6.1, 40 to 60. That is a heck of a lot better than the 15 seconds on the 3.8. Now remember guys, we're going uphill. We got a slight headwind. It's 113 degrees out. We're in a black Rubicon, lifted with 35s. And let's see what happens with our temp here. We're at 228. I was saying, as soon as you turn the key on in this vehicle, the fan comes on. There is no fan control other than it's on. Now I'm only going 60 right now because that's what traffic's letting me do. In fact, I'm going to slow down because we got traffic here. Yeah, they're clearing up. Alright, we're already at 237. Got a little downhill coming up here. Let's see how that does. Might help it out a little bit. See, our gauge has moved over. 242. Under that hood right now is over 300 degrees. You can imagine how much stress that is on the modules. Alright, so we're slowed down now to 55. That temps came down a little bit. Let's try to speed up to the speed limit. Really goofy shifting in this Hemi. Okay, now we're at 65, 64. Temps are coming up. This is a very short run too. If we went up to the top of Mount Charleston, we're talking about 15 miles of this. 250 is our magic number. We don't want to go over that. We'll start getting in trouble. See, our gauge came over. Alright, we're starting back uphill again. Engine's under a load. Alright, 251, we're done. Get off the freeway. You can see where the gauge is at 250. Alright, we're going to let this thing cool down and then we'll go back to the shop.